Just where we are right now with this one episode, though, I feel like, it's a good start. Not this amazing thing that people like to rave about at the current time. What's good people? Welcome to HoViews. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. And today we're going to talk about The Last of Us premiere. So right off the top, not going to waste any time, I have to say that this is not an insanely impressive premiere. Maybe because I played the game so recently and I remember them so vividly, I don't find myself gushing about this episode like many other people have been. So this video is going to be focused on the good, the bad, and the changes. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of breakdown of the show, because I'm probably going to be coming back and doing these each week, and I'm excited to do so. I am positive on the show. I do think it's going to be good, possibly amazing, but not this episode. I don't feel like this one is the one that'll get all the masses on board. So let's get to the good. All the character work felt right. Every cast member felt like they played a role that was specifically designed or lifted from the game. I love another good point here that they kept so much from the games. There were specific scenes that as I watched them play out on the screen, I could vividly remember playing those scenes from the original game within the first 15 to 20 minutes, because that is what this episode was. This is basically the tutorial of the original game. You play about 30 minutes and you get to this point where this episode ended. The Last of Us is a top 3 cinematic game of the last 15 years. So to say that they kept scenes specifically from the game is a very, very good thing, because everything that was done on the consoles was done right. So it makes sense that you would take stuff from those games and just translate them straight to the screen without making much adaptation. Let's talk about the changes, because there were some changes, some being insignificant and some just being things that you have to do to make a game work in a motion picture format. First thing would be that Sarah is a mixed race kid. That is the most insignificant thing that I've heard people complain about. If you are one of those people who complain about the fact that Sarah is no longer white and is now a mixed race teenage girl, please go get a life, because it's not significant, it's not important for the show. That character served the exact same function, and it hurt just as much to see her go through it as a white child as a black child. That her race does not matter, and I don't understand why there were some people, just a few random little spots of people chirping about the fact that they changed her race. Please get a life. The significant changes were mainly things that happened due to shortening sequences. So there were 3 sequences that I thought of specifically that were changed from the game that I remember playing when that first Last of Us game came out. In the game, when Robert gets taken down, you play a sequence in which you make that happen and you see it all play out. Here, you don't get the full play out of it. You just get the reveal that it has happened. In the game, there's a sequence when Tess and Joel meet Marlene, and you get a chase scene in which Marlene and her little small faction and Ellie, along with Tess and Joel, are escaping the authorities, and they're running through different places, and they make it to another section, and the authorities are actually actively chasing them in that part of the game. Here, we just get a hallway meetup, and you get an exchange of pleasantries, and you get an exchange of histories, and then you get Ellie transferred into their care, and it's like they skip a little section of the game. But it makes sense because that game, or that section of the game, was there to introduce some action, after you get a dialogue and you get, a little cutscene. Here, there's no need for that. There's no need to stretch everything out and blow part of your budget on a needless action scene when you can save that for a lot of other stuff that we know is coming and is gonna be essential to have down the line. So I'm cool with them shortening that whole chase scene or just cutting that out and giving us a quick meet in the hallway. They have some history, they exchange some words, and then the story moves forward. The sequence of smuggling Ellie outside the city, that was something else that also was a much longer stretch of the game, and it was a lot more tense because it's one of the first time they take the training wheels off from the game, if I'm remembering right. But you were sneaking past guards and you were throwing bricks and throwing bottles to distract, the little AI henchman who was walking and looking for you. Here, we just get a really pretty quick sequence of them getting outside the city limits and then running into a security guard as they were making their escape. Again, understandably making that sequence shorter. There's no reason to try to build the tension when we barely have much screen time with Ellie and Joel. We only have like a few minutes with them. We're within the context of an hour at that point. So it's like, hey, we're not super connected. Let's not waste a bunch of time putting stakes on them when we all know that they are the main players. They are going to survive at least this. So I was fine with that, and I was fine with making that shorter. I would much prefer them, again, spend time getting to know these characters. So I'm cool with them cutting that out. Here we go with the bad. The only negative that I have to say about this episode is I feel like it's kind of slow. And I think that is my fault because of how much I remember and recall the games. The games really gave me a sense of knowing exactly what was going to happen. And then when it happened, it was not a big moment for me. So as things unfolded, I was kind of just waiting for each beat to hit, and each beat got hit exactly when it should have. And that led to a relatively unimpressive experience just to me. I felt like I was just watching the game kind of summed up, but with real life actors and actresses. Listen, I want to be clear here. I really want to be clear. I am very positive on the show. I just feel as though this premiere episode is nothing to really be raving about, but there will be something to rave about as the show progresses. So I do feel like it's a good thing. Just this one didn't blow me out of the water. I'm anticipating a whole lot more fireworks, and I'm anticipating a lot more stellar action, CG, fight scenes. All that stuff is going to be really, really good. I could see it in the little previews that they give you for the weeks to come. Just where we are right now with this one episode, though, I feel like, it's a good start. Not this amazing thing that people like to rave about at the current time. I also would like to say, I know that some people received screeners and got the entirety of the season already viewed. So they have season reviews out that are like insiders who got some advanced copies of things. So good for those people. And they are talking about, when they speak positively, they are talking about the entirety of the series as it stands right now, not what we are getting, one episode at a time. And I'll be going episode at a time. And I think this one, again, solid start, fine little episode, but not the mind-blowing, huge experience that people may be raving about. And that's just me. It could be just me because I'm such a big video game playing guy that, it's unimpressive because it's only the game in live action. Who knows? How I feel right now, though, is it's the game in live action, and I'm waiting for the big stuff to happen when Ellie and Joel really start to get close, and then stakes get raised based on the nature of their relationship growing, and seeing that bonding and how they change things, because I already feel like they're gonna change Bill and Frank with the fact that Joel and Tess know Bill and Frank so well, and we get to see Frank alive, which we didn't get to see in the game. So I want to see all that stuff, as well as like Ellie's backstory, which I know, but I haven't actually played it because I didn't download DLC. That's a whole different thing. But I want to see that unfold and how that stuff gets accepted here in the show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing things come to fruition and reach that point where it's really amazing, like people are talking about. But as of right now, it's just a solid little first episode. Good little premiere. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm wrong. If them video games is just ruining my mind when it comes to this particular show. That's all I have, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.